Hello everyone, my name is Sarathi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we got some leaks for the upcoming Sherry release, finally. So let's talk about what we're getting and what you can expect moving forward. We got a new skill, quite a few new skills to go over. So first of all, we've got Sherry's skill, and let's not bury the lead. Baronne de Flora is coming to Duel Links as a skill locked card. It's pretty cool. It says if you control face-up Chevalier de Flora and your opponent controls a monster, you can add one Baronne de Flora to your extra. You can only use this skill once per duel. So that's interesting. So Chevalier de Flora is a monster that requires specifically a specific level 2 tuner monster and then one or more non-tuners. So you would have to be running a deck that could make Chevalier de Flora, and you could only make Baronne on turn 2 or 3, which is interesting. So, Floor Synchron, which is the card that you have to use, says if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchron material, you can special summon a level 2 or lower monster from your hand, which you can use to summon your Necro Synchron, for example, or another monster. Like, for example, the Noble Knight Spearholder, if you get like the full Noble Knight Spearholder instead of the one that we currently have. So it's possible that these cards could be used, and these three would be essentially tuners that could make Baronne, but you would need a level 6 non-tuner or 2 level 3 non-tuners, and they would have to be monsters that could special summon themselves, since Floor Synchron can't special summon itself. So maybe you do play Centaur Mina, because it's a level 6 fusion monster. But then you would need to draw Polymerization, unless you get the real Horse of the Noble Knights card. It's going to be rough. Trying to play this deck, unless we get the real cards, is going to be very difficult. Now, if they do give us the real cards, that's going to be more fun. I will definitely play the Chevalier de Flora deck if they give us all the new cards from the Win pack. So we'll see how this goes. I don't think that Baronne is going to be that scary if your opponent has to control a monster. Yes, it can pop the monster, but the real power of Baronne is being able to make it turn 1 going first and like using the Omni Negate to mess with your opponent's plays. If your opponent has already had a chance to build a board, then Baronne is a good card, but not an overwhelming card. And the fact that it's like skill locked, so you can't make it with like a 5 and a 5 or something like that, also makes it a lot worse. Like Baronne's power has always been the fact that it's generic, and being forced to make it with an 8 and a 2 is a lot. It makes it a lot worse than being able to make it with like a 5 and a 5 or a 6 and a 4 or something like that. Can be used before your normal draw if your life points are 3,000 or lower. One of the cards from your normal draw this turn will be a Floor Synchron from your deck. This skill can only be used once per duel. Now, Floor Synchron did not get a retrain, so this is just a bad card. It's cool that you can make sure that you draw it because it's not searchable, but still a bad card. And why are you wanting to draw a tuner when you're at 3,000 or life points or lower? You want to synchro summon on turn 1, not on turn 2. So yeah, I don't think this skill is going to be any good. At the beginning of your first turn, place one zone face down on your side of the field. During this turn, you cannot use it or cards of effects with the same name. So zone is a card that says when the set card is destroyed, you can add one continuous spell or field spell in your graveyard to your hand. I don't know what the purpose of this is. I don't know why they were playing field spells in the World Grand Prix. I didn't watch this part of the anime. But I know that I'm sure it was a speed spell era. So first of all, I'm confused as to why she's playing a non-speed spell card, and secondly, Speed World isn't going to the graveyard, so I don't know why it lets you choose field spells in your graveyard to add to your hand. But regardless, I don't know of any continuous spells that she plays, so I don't know what this is for, or why a continuous spell would be in your graveyard. Is it good? I mean, Zone is a bad card, so being able to set it from outside your deck so that you can guarantee that you have it. It's not a brick in your deck is nice, but you'd have to be running quite a few field spells or continuous spells to be making it useful. Alright, so here's the real skill. Send one Noble Knight Spearholder from your hand to the graveyard to set one Polymerization to your field from outside your deck, and send one Fleur Synchron to the graveyard from outside your deck. Then you can add one Fleurette de Fleur or one Noble Knight monster with 800 attack from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Skill can only be used once per duel. Sorry. This skill can only be used once per turn. During the turn you use the skill, you can't special summon monsters from outside your extra deck except Noble Knight monsters with 800 attack and Synchron Tuner monsters. Okay, so now we get an understanding of a new card. So this is being added from the deck. So this is Fleurette de Fleur. And Fleurette de Fleur, you can activate this card by targeting a level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it but negate its effects, also equip it with this card. When equipped with this card, when this card equipped by this effect leaves the field, destroy that monster. The equipped card gains 700 attack points. If this card is sent from the field, from the spell trap zone to the graveyard, you can equip this card to a synchro monster you control. Okay. So you can only use this effect once per turn. You can only activate one per turn. Okay, so it's very specifically worded. First, it lets you special summon a monster from your graveyard, which is good. Only if it's equipped by that effect will it destroy the monster if it leaves the field. And then you can equip it to a synchro monster, and all it does is give the synchro monster 700 attack points. Is that good? Yeah, it's like Monster Reborn with a little upside. I like it. It's got a nice flavor. It's got nice arts. So yeah, I don't have any problems with this. So I guess that you're going to equip your Fleur Synchron, which sending it to the graveyard from outside your deck is really good. That means that you don't have to play this card. You're going to equip your Fleur Synchron. You're going to polymerize your Centaur Mina. And then you're going to synchro into Chevalier. So, let's see what the new Centaur Mina looks like. One Light Warrior monster plus one Beast monster. Once per turn during your turn, when your opponent activates a trap card as a quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, set the card. You can only use each of the following effects of Centaur Mina once per turn. During your main phase, you can special summon one level 2 or lower monster from your hand or graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material for a Wind Warrior monster, you can destroy one face-up monster on the field. Okay, so she can revive her tuner monster, which is good. You put the monster in the graveyard, and then you can pop a card on your opponent's field, and you get your Chevalier de Fleur. Now, this would allow you to bring back a tuner monster to go into Synchro 10. I mean, that's the idea. Like, if you have the Fleurette de Fleur and you have the Centaur Mina, then you can easily make Baronne. But this skill isn't adding Baronne to your extra deck, so. So I don't know what level 10 we're making in that case, or if we're even supposed to make level 10, if we're just supposed to end on Chevalier de Fleur. We'll have to see. This skill in particular makes me concerned. I don't know what's going on. Alright, now we have some Tech Genius skills. Cool. Each of the following effects can only be used once per duel. You cannot normal or special summon any monsters from outside the extra deck except Tech Genius monsters. During your opponent's turn, you cannot activate the effects of level 7 or higher monsters except Tech Genius monsters. This is fantastic. So this means that you can't use cards like Black Rose Dragon or Crystron Poryanga Drax at all if you use this skill. Great. Because that's going to make Tech Genius really, really annoying. This just lets them kind of like play their deck more efficiently. I don't really know what the benefit of quick synchroing a Tech Genius monster is, other than I think Tech Genius Star Dragon has some synchro effects, some quick effects, let's say. Shooting Star Dragon TGEX requires a tuner synchro monster plus a non-tuner synchro monsters. It's level 10. When a monster effect is activated that targets a monster you control, you can banish a tuner from your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the card, not once per turn. Okay, so that's pretty good. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can negate the attack, and during your opponent's turn, if this card is in your graveyard, as a quick effect, you can tribute 2 synchro monsters to special summon this card. That's pretty good too. So, okay. Yeah. This card's really good. So, if we get this card, then that'll be the card that we like quick synchro. That's fine. Anyway, reveal 1 level 3 or lower Tech Genius monster in your hand to add 1 Tech Genius limit or removal from your deck to your hand. So Tech Genius limit or removal is from a very recent set. This is like a brand new card, so it's really interesting that we're getting this card right now. Discard 1 card, and it does say from your deck, so this card is coming in, I guess, in the box. Discard 1 card, add 2 Tech Genius monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 Tech Genius monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, or if you control a machine Tech Genius monster, you can add it to your hand instead. You can only activate 1 Tech Genius removal effect per turn, and only once that turn. So, discard 1 card to add 2 Tech Genius monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. So you have to, you go essentially like neutral, because you discard a card, you send a card from your hand to the graveyard to activate the Tech Genius limit removal, then you draw 2 cards. So it's kind of like Melody, which is pretty good. And you can banish it to add a Tech Genius monster in your graveyard to your hand if you control a machine Tech Genius monster. There aren't that many machine Tech Genius monsters. There's a card that makes them all machines, but I don't know that we're getting that card. I have to imagine that we are, since we're getting limited removal, and limited removal explicitly mentions the machine part. This changes everything. Like, I don't know what kind of Tech Genius cards we're going to get if we're getting limited removal. So they might be giving us everything, if that's the case. And I mean, if they're giving us everything, then TGs will be nuts. So we'll have to see. Over Dragonar is not that powerful if there's only 3 zones, but still, like, whew, this is gonna be funny. You can also set 1 Tech Genius Respro Dragonfly to your field from outside your deck, and it can be flip summon this turn. So this just gives you a free level 2 non-tuner, so that you can go into like your Glaive Blaster if you want to, or your Halberd Cannon. So yeah, I like that. At the beginning of your first turn, set 1 Starlight Junction to your field from your deck, and send 1 Junk Converter from your deck to the graveyard. If the only face-up monster in your field is a Stardust Dragon or a level 10 Synchro monster, you can play 1 Formula Synchron or 1 Tech Genius Recepro Dragonfly from your outside your deck in defensive position. This skill can only be used once per turn and twice per duel. During this duel, you cannot special summon monsters except light or wind Synchro monsters with 2500, 3300, or 4000 attack, junk monsters, and Synchro monsters. Okay, so Starlight Junction is a really dumb card. You can tribute a tuner to special summon a Synchron monster from your deck with a different level than the tributed monster had on the field, and during your opponent's turn, if you special summon a Synchro monster from your extra deck, you can target 1 card on the field and shuffle it into the deck. So if you quick Synchro, you get to bounce a card. That's a really good field spell. And it says, set it to your field from your deck. So this is basically going to be like the Boral Launch skill, where you play 1 copy of the field spell, except that instead of like accidentally drawing it and being sad that your skill is not useful, it does it from the start of your first turn. So that's crazy. We'll have to see. I mean, you could still draw it, is the problem, because it's the beginning of your first turn, so if your opponent goes first and you have this card in your hand, then you're just not going to be able to use the skill with it. Send 1 Junk Converter from your deck to the graveyard as well. If the only face-up monster you is a Stardust Dragon or a level 10 Synchro monster, you can play a Formula Synchron or a Respro Dragonfly. So, if you have Stardust Dragon, you get Formula Synchron, then you can quick Synchro into either Shooting Star Dragon or probably Tech Genius Star Dragon during your opponent's turn, and then Starlight Junction can just bounce a card they control. I guess if you have a level 10 Synchro monster, like, you're going to have Tech Genius Glaive Blaster, you can get Respro Dragonfly, and the Respro Dragonfly can special summon the 2 monsters, and then you just you go off. But the problem is, Lighter wind synchro monsters with 2500, 3300, or 4000 attack. I don't actually know. You can't make the Glaive Blaster because you need a level 5 synchro, and it's not letting you make any of the TG cards. I don't know why this is labeled as a TG skill, because this seems like it's going to be a Yusei skill. I don't know what the point of the Tech Genius or Superb Dragonfly is then, because you can't easily make Blade, the Blade card. Hold on, let me see. TG Blade Blaster. It requires a Tuner Synchro monster plus one or more non-Tuner Synchro monsters. So I guess you could technically make this with Formula Synchron and Stardust Dragon, but you can't summon Formula Synchron either. I don't know. I don't know how you're going to do this. This is weird. Oh, you can't make Formula Synchron because it's a Synchron monster. Okay, that makes more sense. The restrictions on the skill are really weird. I need to know what cards can actually... I need to know what cards we're getting before I know what can be used with this, because there's so many possibilities, and it's just hard for me to determine what we're actually going to be doing. Draw Sense Tuner can be used before your normal draw each time your life points decrease by 1,000. One of the cards from your normal draw this turn will be a random tuner monster from your deck. The skill can only be used if you begin the duel with a deck, excluding an extra deck that contains at least 9 monsters. Cool. It's nice that we have this skill finally. We should have had this skill ages ago, so it's cool that it's in the game now. Hopefully this goes to Jack, Yusei, Crow, and a few others. Spellcaster Reload. Place one level 5 or higher spellcaster type monster from your hand at the bottom of your deck and draw 1 card. This skill can only be used once per duel immediately after your normal draw. Okay, so this is just level 5 reload, but for spellcasters, and it's level 5 or higher. Yeah, sure, this could be like a good skill for Magician Girls and Dark Magician, I guess. It's fine. At the beginning of the duel, gain 1,500 life points. Select one Synchro monster you control to gain 300 attack points until the end of the turn. If there's a wind monster in your graveyard or your field, it gains 600 attack instead. The skill can only be used once per turn if you begin the duel with an extra deck containing at least one wind Synchro monster. Okay. So it's basically like life point boost alpha, but you gain 1,500 instead, and then you also can just give your monsters 300 attack points every turn. Is that good? No. No, this doesn't help you build a board or anything like that, so this isn't good enough to be a skill slot. It's fine. Alright. We finally have a Goki skill, that's good. Each of the following effects can only be used once per duel. Gain life points equal to the original attack of one Goki monster on your field or in your graveyard. Cool, so if you make the Master Ogre, you gain 2,800 life points. That's great. That's even better than the original... That's even better than the original, like, 3 effects skill. Except that it's original attacks explicitly, not current attacks. So you can't, like, gain 8,000 life points. But I think that was, like, the point, right? The point was that, you know, they don't want Gokis to be able to do that. But it is nice that Gokis can gain more than 2,000 life points now. If you control no monsters while your opponent controls a monster, return one non-linked Goki monster from your graveyard to your hand, and then you can return one card from your hand to your deck. So okay, that part's good. So this is the like bonus effect, and being able to just get your Super X back to your hand is important. So yeah, this is going to be a fantastic skill. Gokis will play this. This will be the best Goki skill moving forward, and that's what we want. New Playmaker skill. If you control a Cyberse-type Link monster, you can send one Firewall Dragon from your extra deck to the graveyard. It is treated as if it was properly special summoned. Then you can return one card from your hand or field of the deck to set one Firewall Dragon to your field. It can be flip summoned this turn. This skill can only be used once per duel. You cannot special summon monsters from outside your extra deck except Cyberse-type Light, Dark, or Wind monsters. Firewall Guardian. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for the Link summon of a Cyberse monster, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. When an attack is declared involving your Link monster and an opponent's Link monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate that attack, and if you do until the end of the turn, the original attack of that monster becomes 0. It is unaffected by other card effects except its own. You can only use each effective Firewall Guardian once per turn. Okay, so Firewall Guardian is being added because it's being sent from the field to your field from your deck. So I think this is like an indication of what the new deck is, because in May we're gonna get like a Playmaker structure deck that's gonna have like a prismatic, free card that, like, before we got Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. It's probably going to be Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid. So this is kind of an indication that, yeah, it's probably going to be Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid with all the Firewall support, which is cool. I don't mind a Firewall deck. Reveal one Gladiator Beast monster in your hand to set one Gladiator Rejection that is banished or from your deck to your graveyard. Okay, so you just get Gladiator Rejection. That's useful. The skill can only be used once per duel. If you begin a duel with a deck that contains at least 8 Gladiator Beast monsters. During this duel, you cannot switch some monsters from outside your extra deck except Gladiator Beast monsters or Beast-type monsters. That is not good enough. Gladiator Rejection, Gladiator Rejection being set to your field for free is good. It is not good enough. So, yeah, I feel like they did their best. They said that, okay, well, you can return it even if it's banished or if it's in your graveyard. So if you open it, you just activate it, and then you use the skill later to get it back. So they've done their best to try and idiot-proof this skill so that it's always useful to you. But even then, Gladiator Rejection is not that good. It allows you to special summon an extra Gladiator Beast monster with when you special summon a Gladiator Beast monster, but that's not good enough. If you do that, then you don't have the fusion monsters, and the Gladiator Beast monsters themselves are just not all that strong without fusing. Yes, they'll probably give us the fusion spell so that we can actually make fusions after the main phase, after the battle phase. But I don't know that that's going to work. You need a main phase 2 to make Gladiator Beasts good, and Gladiator Beasts aren't even that good, even with the main phase 2. So just stop coping on this deck. It's not going to work. We have an Ogadeax skill. I don't know anything about this deck. Reveal one light or dark reptile monster in your hand to add one monster with the opposing attribute but the same type and level as the revealed monster from your deck to your hand. Skill can only be used once per duel. During this duel, you cannot special summon monsters from outside the extra deck except reptiles. Okay, so same type, same level, different attribute. I don't know, I guess Ogadeax, Ogdo Addicts. I guess Ogdo Addicts are all about light and dark reptiles, which is interesting, I guess, but I'm not a big snake person. I've never seen these cards, so I know that they were pretty popular in Master Duel a year ago, but I have no idea what the deck does, so I'll have to see it when you guys see it. Sky Strikers! We're finally getting Sky Strikers, I knew it. At the beginning of the duel, add cards to your deck, extra deck, including Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage, which is an insane card. You cannot normal summon or special summon monsters from outside the extra deck except Sky Striker monsters or monsters from your opponent's graveyard. Okay, that makes sense, because there's a Sky Striker card that lets you revive monsters from your opponent's graveyard, so... okay, yeah. This is good. I'm assuming that this means that Engage is probably going to be, locked behind the skill just like Shit All Fusion was, which is fine, I don't want Sky Striker Mobilize Engage to be a card that we can draw, so having it just be a 1 card that you get in your deck and it makes your deck 21 cards is good. So... yeah, this is fine. If this is all the skill does, is just give you Engage and probably a couple of your extra deck monsters, then that's fine. Alright, we have a Cleafort skill. At the beginning of the duel, add Pendulum Zones to your field. During your end phase, you tribute summoned a Clee monster. You gain life points equal to the number of tributes used for its summon times 800. Okay. So if you tribute summon Cleafort, you gain 2,400 life points during the end phase. And that's not the only time that you gain life points. You can gain life points literally every turn. How many life points would you have to gain for a life point gaining skill to be useful? 2,000. I mean, we have skills that just literally just give you 2,000 life points and people play them and they're fine. So getting Pendulum Zones and then also gaining, 2,000 life points and potentially more than that. Yeah, this could make Cleese good. I think Please might need a little bit more help than just life points, but it's definitely a start. It's better than nothing, so I'm looking forward to this. Alright, there you go, guys. That's the deck. That's the skill list. No other leaks yet, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My name is Sarafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.